in 2006, I formed Trio Scordatura, which is an ensemble consisting of female voice, viola, and myself playing electronic keyboards, which is a pretty unusual combination. But the ensemble came about because we enjoyed working together and collaborating as musicians and so forth, so we decided to make some music together. And because there's not a lot written for that combination, we almost immediately felt we wanted to commission new pieces from composers. And really for two reasons, partly because I myself am from Ireland, from up the north in County Antrim. I was interested in looking at young Irish composers, seeing what they were doing, and they'd be interested in writing for us. And also, I've tended to ask younger composers rather than older composers, because younger composers sometimes are, should we say, more flexible with the kind of approaches they can bring to making new pieces for that kind of unusual combination. We also have the technical, I suppose, peculiarity that the music we do is very often tuned in a different way than the normal equal temperament, the way the piano is tuned and the way most Western instruments are tuned these days. So a lot of the pieces use either different tuning systems or microtones or microtones, and different approaches to thinking about harmony and about musical materials. So that's, it adds up to quite an unusual and I dare say quite a challenging ensemble for somebody to write for. So I had, the first person I asked to compose for us from Ireland was Scott McLaughlin, who wrote a terrific piece which is on the CD called Marks. And following from that, I'd gotten to know Ben Schlepper-Connolly and Eric Chaldice from my various business over here. And they suggested putting together a whole CD project on ask some young Irish composers to write for us. So I thought it was a great idea. I didn't really believe it was going to happen, I must say, when they proposed the idea. I thought it was a wonderful idea, but it'll never actually come together. And sure enough, it's only, whatever, I suppose 2.5 years something after that initial idea, there's the finished product sitting on your table.
I was working on the piece. It really felt to me like it was, the listener was almost like in this kind of dark, cavernous space, and shafts of light are coming through. And then I kept thinking about the word Dubh, and I suppose coming from a tradition of Irish music myself, and Shannon singing, that kind of thing, using the Gaelic of the word black seemed quite interesting to me. And also we were discussing this the other day, how there's this really interesting pool of Irish composition which is represented on the CD. And Dubh Ling, meaning dark pool as well, so Dublin, so there's all these connections as well, which was quite interesting. And I guess in some sense there is this quite ambient, kind of gothic sensibility within my own piece, Dubh, on this CD. So I felt that it was quite relevant.
I wrote a piece called Hush for the adapted viola and tape, or backing track as we called it yesterday. It's a piece for Harry Parch invented this instrument called he adapted the viola, a normal viola, to so that it can have more microtonal usages. And so it was written for Elizabeth Schmaltz, and she did a fantastic job of it. It was great working with her on the project, and I went over to Amsterdam to record her playing the viola. I took samples of her playing the instruments. She had 2 adapted violas actually, isn't that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2. So I took samples of both the violas, and they make up the tape part of the piece. It was just she's just a beautiful person to work with, and she's so softly spoken, and she's got this incredible voice and demeanour about her, and I just thought the title Hush was very appropriate to what came out. Basically her personality comes out very strongly, I think, in the piece, and I think it came out very well.
I think it's incredibly important. I mean, I think often for younger composers, they might be producing a lot of new pieces and they get played maybe once. And so, if you don't get a good recording in that performance, then it's, probably put on the shelf and you're not going to maybe have a performance for another while, or maybe, it can be quite difficult. So once you have that, it's such a solid entity and you have it, so tangible. A good recording, I think, is so incredibly important, and to put energy and time into that. rather than trying to rely on getting a really good recording in one performance, let's say. So I think that perhaps more emphasis should be placed on that, actually.
I see the role of recording becoming even more important in that, for example, take my own ensemble with its pretty much unique combination of female voice, viola, and electronic keyboards. There isn't any other ensemble that I'm aware of that has that instrumentation. So if Linda or Jude or any of the people that wrote pieces for us, they have that piece, it's not that likely to get picked up by another ensemble with the same instrumentation because there isn't one. Therefore, the idea of recording a piece seems to me even more important as a way of getting it heard. So the idea of a piece being able to travel around from country to country to a very similar sort of ensemble, I think now is maybe something a little bit was true before the recent years, and is less true now.